Hey, this is Manga Haul number 5, and I got a small collection of books this time around. I had some of these books for a little while already, so I'm going to finally get talking about them. First, my most recent ones, I got 3 volumes of Uzaki Chan, and I picked up some Dragon Ball Super. I'm all the way up to volume 9 now. And a long time ago, I picked up the complete set, what I needed left for the Dragon Ball. So I had volumes up to 6, and so I bought 6 through 16, so I bought 10 of those. That was a while ago. So I'm going to just get started with Dragon Ball. So let's start off with the old stuff. We have OG Dragon Ball. I'm up to volume 14 now. I read from 6 to 14 this far, so I'm really seeing like the meat of this whole series so far, and it's really good actually. So at this point in the story, Kid Goku has defeated Demon King Piccolo, and so that was a pretty big like power up for Goku right there. And then pretty quickly it gets ready for the big tournament at the end with Piccolo Jr. And that only takes a few pages, and we get that far. Like Goku gets up to the top of the tower. He meets Mr. Popo, has a short fight with him. He gets completely annihilated by Popo, and then he goes away and trains with Kami, and then we have a time skip, and it goes right to the tournament, and we meet older teenage Goku. So that's as far as I got so far. So, I mean, it's like 30 years old at this point. I don't think anything's like super spoilery about this, but if you haven't read original Dragon Ball, I really recommend you do so. Definitely one of the best things about Dragon Ball is that every time Goku powers up, he doesn't just power up, he trains and he learns stuff from a new master. And they usually give him like really good piece of like knowledge to go along with it. And it's kind of funny because they kind of hint at that later in Dragon Ball Super, all the way down the line, that they've been trying to teach him how to use pretty much Ultra Instinct from the beginning, and that's pretty much where like true power comes from. So that's been like hinted, maybe not purposely hinted at, but definitely like those themes have carried across all the way to the end. So that's probably the best thing about original Dragon Ball, and that's probably one of the nicer things about Dragon Ball Super is it ties it in like that. Then I have my Volume 9 of Dragon Ball Super. This is as far as I am so far. I'm taking a break right here at the end of the Tournament of Power arc, because I really want to see the Broly movie, because that takes place like right at the end between these two arcs in here, but that far in. So I really want to see that before I continue reading into the Planet Eater, whatever Moro this guy is. So he seems pretty crazy. So I haven't gotten into it. I've barely just started. I think these are like some flashbacks from like umpteen thousands of years ago. I'm not going to read too far into the story because I want to see the Broly movie first. And Dragon Ball Super in general has gotten much better. I think the art style's growing on me a little bit more. The overall, like what's going on, as all the different arcs so far, like there's been 2 major arcs so far, other than like the beginning of it. And the Tournament of Power is pretty awesome. I'm actually really enjoying it. I was kind of nervous about it when I first started reading it because I was like, is this it? I didn't like the new art style was just a little bit different to me. I really like that old school Dragon Ball Z art style, really gritty looking. But Dragon Ball Super is coming into its own thing, and it's actually getting really good. I'm really excited to keep on reading it and maybe pick up the anime when I'm done reading the manga. And then I picked up, off the bat, 3 volumes of Uzaki Chan. The way that started for me is that clips of the anime started coming across my YouTube feed, so I watched a few of those. Thought it was pretty good. So then I went online, read like 7 chapters, and just to get like my foot in the door, I just wanted to see like how similar it was to the clips I was seeing, and I still liked it a lot. So then I just went ahead and picked up all 3 volumes that I could find that were available online. So I picked those up, read them through pretty quickly, and it's actually just a really nice series. Actually, I like it a lot. It's quite funny. So I'm really looking forward to where the story goes. I hope it actually progresses, because that's usually my biggest fear of any of these kind of like slice of life, very kind of episodic stories, is that maybe they either don't go anywhere or they take a long time to go somewhere. So as long as the story progresses at a pace that is reasonable, then I think I'll continue to enjoy and collect this series. That's pretty much my only concern. Other than that, it's really good. So in like my opinion, from like beat to beat, the best parts are always from when Uzaki is either trying to trick Sakurai, or the other 2 side characters are actually trying to push them together. Kind of along for the ride to see if these characters come together or not. The only really question is how long is it going to take for that to happen, because I don't see why it wouldn't. So that's my only big question. Next up, I got Golden Kamuy Volume 3. I think the story is really ramping up. and it's turning into that cat and mouse game, which, if you know me, I really love those more intellectual, just as much as an intellectual battle as it is a physical one. So if the characters are able to watch, plan each other's moves out, cut each other off, set traps, all that stuff, that's usually when I'm really engrossed in the action of a story. I'd definitely say the two main hooks for this series is its historical and survival aspects. So a lot of the characters, they spend a lot of time learning how to, teaching each other how to survive with whatever they might know. The main guy, he was obviously in the army, so he knows a lot of those kind of things that you might learn, surviving in war or combat. And the other main girl, she's pretty much a northern Japan native, and so she's very much a very good hunter. And the way a lot of that kind of crescendos into that, they usually that crescendos into them learning how to cook something or teaching each other how to cook. So it's like, this is literally the first time where she actually tried like miso soup, and before she never would, like, she would insist on not wanting to try it because she didn't like it, and then it turns out, oh, she likes it. It's funny. So a lot of the comedy comes from the fact that they're from two different cultures, and and they use food to portray that quite often. And definitely one of the funny things for me with this series is that I remember when this was brand new back in like 2014, and I read like the very first chapters in like a preview book of other stories. And now I'm finally getting around to reading this series, and I'm 3 volumes in, and I look online and there are like at least a couple dozen volumes out so far. So there's a long way I gotta go to catch up with this series. So I'm gonna see if I can catch up and do that. That'll be one of my goals maybe next year. So I think Cells at Work is really cool. My girlfriend, she watched the anime back when it was out. I don't know if there's been more seasons since then, but I know she at least watched like the first 13 episodes, if I think that was what was out at the time. And she watched that when she was in college, and she's actually a microbiologist now, so she actually understood everything that was going on in the story. She understood all the concepts. Like, she didn't even have to, like, if you would go to a particular page and it like explains some stuff about it, like, she doesn't even need to read that. Like, none of it. She just straight up enjoys the story, so that's why I'm going to read it. I'm going to collect it, because I know that she actually absolutely loves this story. She liked the anime. I'm going to get her the manga. This is technically her book, because I bought it for her, so... But I'm probably going to read these too. She absolutely loves Cells at Work. That's going to be really exciting to collect, because I really hope that the story goes a long way. I don't know if it ended, because I kind of had a climactic thing at the end of this anime. I want to see if the manga goes past that. And it's quite funny, and it's got that, like, this guy's obviously some kind of JoJo reference, and I feel like it also feels like sometimes like One Punch Man, like, at least with the character designs on the enemies, like, everything's all really unique. So yeah, this stuff, so all the bad germs and stuff have really cool designs. So I'm really excited to have her finally start reading some manga, maybe get her into this, see how far it goes past the anime. And these last 3 I picked up on a local store. Had just the 1 volume. I think they had a couple volumes, but I just picked up the first one of Fairy Tail. I haven't read it yet, just in case if I want to get into another one of the classic shonen stories. I'll read this, see how I like it, see if it's a story worth going on to. If I was going to tackle another big shonen right now, I might just go ahead and start reading One Piece, because I was at Barnes & Noble yesterday, and they had like volume 98 out, and that was just completely ridiculous to me. So the idea of seeing triple digits on a manga spine like this, on the back of a book, is going to be just crazy to think about. I don't even know if it's even possible to read all that manga in a reasonable amount of time. But yeah, Fairy Tail obviously has that One Piece kind of vibe to it. I think the character designs are heavily borrowed from that, so... But I would definitely like to give this story a read too. Got Platinum In Volume 11. This story is actually like starting to like wind up and get good. The last few volumes actually were a lot better than maybe the first few. I think it was a slow burn at the beginning for sure, because I didn't really like how it delved too much on the character backstories, just a little bit too much, like, because it's very trying to be very sad all the time, so it's just kind of emotionally manipulative for me. That I'm just not really into. But as it's going along, I think it's getting better, and so it's a little bit more of what you expect from Ohaba and Obata, and it seems like maybe this is starting to go into its conclusion. So maybe this guy might be one of the last big baddies. I don't even know if he's a bad guy yet, so we'll see what happens. So I just feel like we're getting close to the end. If that's one thing about these two guys, is that they definitely like to write shorter stories that are more concise and have a good ending, and end it when it should end. If it goes to maybe 15 or 20 volumes, we'll see how it goes. As long as it has a really good ending, if it can do it right, then I would be totally in for this story. I don't think it's as good as Death Note, but we'll see how it goes. And the very last thing is I actually went to a real comic book store, and I asked the guy, he was talking to me, he kind of came up to us and he asked what we were interested in. I said I was pretty much up for anything, whatever he suggested, because I'm really fresh to comic books. So he asked if I was into horror. I said I'm not really into movies, but I like reading horror. I used to be into creepypastas and stuff like that. So I mean, I can handle. It's not that creepypastas are that scary or nothing, but I can handle reading a comic book. As for horror, I just can't watch movies. Horror movies, like, they hack my brain too much. I can't stand them. I just can't. I can't keep my composure with a horror movie. So, but as far as reading horror novels and fiction and comic books, I'm for it. So I want to see where this goes. It's very much. I haven't gotten that far yet, but it might be very much influenced by maybe Lovecraft and Eldritch horror themes. So that's what I'm really into. So I want to just see where the story goes. So if you've read this, just tell me how it goes. If you like it, if it's really good. The guys at the comic book shop, they said it was really good, so they liked it. So I took the word for it. I grabbed a couple books that they recommended to me, and I picked them up. So we'll see if I actually get into regular comic book reading from here on out, because I was really into Witcher, and Witcher has some well, I don't think Witcher has comic books, but I was into. After learning about Witcher, I learned about things like the Silver Shroud and what's that guy's name? Elric. Elric is basically what The Witcher is based off of. So I'd maybe like to pick up those books or see if read those comics. So that kind of what got me into maybe picking up some more regular comics from a regular comic book shop that I had to drive to a different city to get to. So we'll see how that goes. So that's everything I have for today. If you have any questions about any of these stories or anything I've seen before I've featured, just ask me a question down in the comments. I absolutely love replying to comments down there. So if you feel like I maybe skipped over something, or if you want me to elaborate on something I said, just ask me about it. I'll reply back, guaranteed. And I'm also going to try and make more videos more often. So if you want to stick around, just hit the subscribe button. I'll be around more often. I really want to push this. When I read a book, I really want to be able to talk about it too. So that's my main thing, is what I like doing, especially in games too. So I'll try to make more stuff too. So I'll try to make into more videos of pretty much every kind that you've seen before on this channel. So see you later, and see you next time. Bye.